Welcome back to the new season of the Experts in Fire podcast. I'm your host, Mike Vennard, and joining me today is Kevin Bobcean. Today, we're talking to Elliott White from Grand Canyon Gas Logs. Let's get into it. Kevin Bobcean, how are you, brother?
Mike, I am doing so well. Thanks so much for having me on today. What an honor.
You know what? I'm so excited, dude. I'm excited for the new version of this podcast. So we're going to be doing both. We're going to have the Experts in Fire with Randy, and we're going to be talking about product and, safety and all of that stuff. But this is the new, another version, shall we say, where you're going to be joining me, and we're going to be talking to our vendors, man, and more importantly, our Firebrand vendors. For those of you who don't know, our listeners out there, Kevin Bobcean is our Director of Business Development. He works with, how many, Kevin? 180? 100?
About 120 altogether.
Kevin, if I don't say it probably in the other podcasts, but I'll say it a ton here, and if you're around me at all, Kevin is my right hand. He's the guy. He knows our vendors. He works with them closely. I get opportunity to work with certain vendors closely, and those really are our Firebrand vendors that we get to work with. And today, we're talking with Mr. Elliott White from Grand Canyon Gas Logs.
Hey guys, it's a pleasure to be here, so thank you guys for having me on.
Elliott, that sounded so scripted. It is our pleasure having you too, and we're thankful that you are here. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
No, this is first time doing a podcast. A pleasure to be here with you guys, and you guys are, we'll get into it more, but obviously such a important friend and business partner to us, and it's a pleasure to be on here with you guys.
Yeah, Elliott, so just to go over just a few things for our listeners. So Elliott White, Executive Vice President of RPG Brands. We'll get into that, a little bit of what that is, but also the founder of Grand Canyon Gas Log.
One of the founders.
All right.
But you get to say founder. So tell us a little, Elliott. What we'd like to do is just kind of walk through your company, what you guys do, and that type of stuff. And I'll kind of let Kevin guide you through that. And then we're going to want to hear, and especially our listeners are going to want to hear how this relationship began. But let's start at the beginning. Tell us about Grand Canyon. Tell us about, RPG Group, how all that kind of came about.
Yeah, so Grand Canyon Gas Logs was pretty much born in the showrooms here locally in Arizona Fireplaces with the Richardson family. The Richardson family have been doing business in Arizona for 45 plus years through retail distribution, contractor builder business, and then got into more of the brand side of things back in 2006, 2007. So they had these logs that they were selling through the Arizona Fireplaces showroom, and Don has two sons, Keith and Chris. Keith was running the distribution company of AF Distributors. Chris was running Modern Flame, so he was basically out of sons. So he asked me to come on and yes, if I had any interest in starting this company, and 10 years later, here we are. So it's been a wild ride. It's been some ups and downs. Definitely more ups than downs, but couldn't be more thankful, more happy for the opportunity.
Elliott, you had mentioned sons. So we know that Don, and as we affectionately refer to him as the Don. So he's got Keith and Chris, and just salt of the earth fellas. So what is your history with growing up with those guys? Maybe give us a little context there.
Yeah, so I've been fortunate to know the Richardson family since I was 12 years old. So a very, very long time. So grew up with them. They're as close to my family as my actual family. But grew up with them playing Babe Ruth baseball. So Don was our Babe Ruth baseball coach, and we had a lot of fun, a lot of winning years playing baseball. And then that grew into high school. We went to high school with them through college, and just maintained a very close relationship throughout the years, and consider them my brothers. And then when I got married in 2019, we asked Don to be the officiant in our wedding. So he actually married my wife and I, and then Keith and Chris were Keith was my best man, and Chris standing right next to Keith as my groomsman. So it is a lifelong relationship that just continues to grow.
That's cool. We call Don the Don over here. I remember the first time I met the Don officially. We were in Vegas at that pizza joint we go to in Old Vegas. So I walk in. I was late. Our car was late. Something happened to our lift. And we get there, and I walk in, and we're all talking, saying hi, and all I hear is the Don say, "Is this Mike?" Because it was the first time I'd ever met him, face to face. And I look over, and I go, "Don?" And he just gave me the biggest hug, dude. I'm like, yep.
Yep, that's Don. Super outgoing, super friendly. He is just the foundation and the platform that he's provided for us to grow has been incredible for all the companies.
Yeah, that is really cool. I've had some time with him, and I love speaking with entrepreneurs who have been around for a while, and that is certainly the case with Don. And you get the sense that he is just this person who likes to get the deal done. He works with a lot. I mean, Keith and Chris, and you as well, Elliott, work with a lot of people in this industry, and in some cases you even work with some of your competitors. We won't get into that today. However, I've always been astonished at how well you guys work well with each other with different companies throughout this industry. Quick story about Don. I said, how did you get into fireplaces? And the story that he told me was, he sold fasteners, so screws and nails and all that kind of stuff. And one day, he's basically chasing checks. He's like, goes to his builders. Hey, you haven't paid me. I'm a small, young business. And the builder says, well, hey, you'll get paid when I get paid. And he says, well, what do you mean? He said, well, builders would tell him, I don't have a fireplace to put into this home I'm building. So until I get that fireplace, I can't get my certificate of occupancy, therefore I can't get paid. So when I get that fireplace, then you're downstream. I'll get you. I think the next day, Don went into the business of selling fireplaces, and the rest is history. So
and never turned back. Well, and I think that also is a testament to Don as far as not only the needs but also a visionary. And I think that's kind of where Grand Canyon Gas Logs was born. He saw the opportunity for these logs, and he was busy with the on the Arizona Fireplaces side, and he's also empowered us to grow the businesses and make decisions on our own. And in the very beginning years, we were considering just selling Grand Canyon locally, obviously because of the other long-term relationships, and it took a lot of convincing on my side to get us to show at our first HPB Expo, and that was in 2015 in Nashville. And then there's so much stuff we needed to learn as far as from the testing and the certification and the product development, and it's really been a fun ride along the way.
So let's go back to 2015. So I heard about this brand. A local rep that we had been working with at the time brought us Grand Canyon Gas Logs, and I thought, wow, that's a pretty cool long name, because I set up all the names in our database. So Grand Canyon Gas Logs. So they came in, did a quick demo, and then I think shortly thereafter, Elliott, you came out to Detroit.
Yeah, that was my first time when you guys were at the old building, and shipped out a pallet of product and set everything up in front of your whole team. Yeah,
that was what, and you were kind enough to bring some Tigers tickets with you. I think you even geared up a little bit. You had the Tigers hat on, and
yes,
you had the beard that you got going on now. And for those of us who are listening but can't see Elliott, he is a handsome fella. He is an Iron Man. Yet at the same time, he does bear a striking resemblance to JV, Justin Verlander, number 35 of the Tigers when he was with us. And he was with us at that time. So it's 2015. Elliott comes out. We do the thing, does the demo. We think we're going to roll forward. So brand new vendor. He's like, hey, guys, let's go to a Tigers game. So Elliott takes us, and I think maybe we're at Hockey Town or something like that. And there's Elliott wearing his Tigers ball cap.
Yep.
And, taller than the average fella. And Elliott, I don't know if you want to take it from there. You had a bit of fanfare.
Yeah. There was definitely some individuals that came up to me and wanted my autograph, thought I was Justin Verlander. And, I'm a baseball guy, but I was so busy, building the business and other things that I actually didn't even know Justin Verlander played for the Tigers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And by then he had only thrown like 2 no-hitters, and I think he won a Cy Young.
Not sure if that person had a little bit too much to drink or if I do have that much of a resemblance, but it was an honor to be mistaken for Justin Verlander.
Right. Tell me this. Kevin talked about, we decided to do business. Were you nervous that day? How much did you know about Woodland at that point?
Yeah, no, I was extremely nervous because it's a brand new company just getting out. We just in Phoenix, we did our had a great reception as far as from the market at in Nashville at HPBA, and then it was like, okay, let's grow this, but really hadn't been out in front of customers that much, working on the pitch, and the good thing is we have a really good product, so everyone was focused on the product and not me. So that was great, which kind of took the nerves off. But learning about Woodland, I knew that you guys. One of the reasons why I wanted to work with you guys so much is because of the investment you've made in the NFI certification of all your salespeople, and I thought that was really, really cool because when we first launched, the thought process was only to sell local brick and mortar and not sell through online because of that a lot of people didn't have the certifications like what you guys had, and that totally put my mind at ease. And I think going into that I was nervous, but once I started meeting your team, talking to you guys, hey, we're just all regular guys. We're just all regular people, and we're after the same thing. We want to build brands, sell more products, and it ended up being a very natural conversation across the board, and it's like I said, it's grown into an incredible relationship and friendship over the years.
So were you, and maybe I missed it, but were you doing business with other e-commerce platforms at that point?
At that point in time, no, we weren't. We were just selling through brick and mortars, through distribution, and you guys were really the first online company that was set up directly with Grand Canyon and basically launched it to the online community.
And then really for context, we introduced you in as the Executive VP of Richardson Products Group. Can you maybe expound on what that is quickly as we kind of refocus on Grand Canyon?
Yeah, so real quick, so RPG stands for, as you said, Richardson Product Groups. Basically, we do the design, development, engineering here in Phoenix of Grand Canyon gas logs, Modern Flames electric fireplaces, and Wildfire outdoor living, and then we manufacture everything offsite with doing some final assembly here in Phoenix. But in the very early years, we had these separate companies. Of Grand Canyon was a separate company, Modern Flames was a separate company, but then there are all these other shared expenses, and it just got kind of messy. So the Richardsons decided to say, hey, let's put it all on one umbrella. That way, because we had a lot of common customers, common distributors, we could share warehouse employees, we could share reps, we could share national sales managers, and then and it also allows us to add on different brands as we see needs in the marketplace. So Modern Flame started in 2008, Grand Canyon started in 2014, and then we launched Wildfire Outdoor Living in 2019, which really got to market in 2020. So those are the three main brands under the corporate umbrella of RPG Brands.
So you guys got some significant anniversaries coming up, and congratulations on all three businesses. Yeah, so this is lucky for 10 years for Grand Canyon and 15 years for Modern Flames. So it's it's 20 years for Woodland too.
Wow, it's time flies. And the only thing that's different is I got a little more gray in my beard.
I have a lot more.
Mine's white, so you can both knock it off. You at least have color in your...
So when you stepped into Woodland Direct back then, what did you expect prior, and then what did you walk away with?
Yeah, expectations. I went in there. You guys had been in business just about 10 years, and you're this juggernaut in the online side. So there was the intimidation that I wasn't going to know nearly much about the product. And then walking away, you guys saw the opportunity in the product. You saw the difference between what some of the other manufacturers were doing, and it was just more of a setting nerves to ease by just getting to know you guys on a personal level, and as well as the other members of your team. So going in was, like I said, it was a lot of nerves, and leaving was just with a lot of comfort.
Yeah, I think we were kind of the same way too, Mike. And just to kind of get you in here, at that time, I was into business development. You were our sales manager. So what were you thinking maybe about Grand Canyon?
It's every new company that comes into Woodland, number one, you have to sit back and go, okay, is the product going to work? That's the most important, right? It's going to land at somebody's doorstep. We've put the time, energy, and effort into having the pros on the phones and being able to work with pros on the other end of the phone. Is it going to get installed and then not function properly? So it's always a concern. What's your field test like? What is the experience of your current customer base? And of course, most clients are going to look at you, or most vendors are going to go, everything's great, right? I mean, they're selling. That's what they're there to do. So there's some level of, I don't know, trepidation, I guess you'd say, when you're bringing in a new brand like we did with these guys. And from the sales side, of course, you're like, we're going to have to gain some confidence in it. Especially Grand Canyon was up against really a solo player in the industry. And it's exciting to look at, and I know we're going to talk about where it's grown to, but I'm certainly glad as a sales team, as a biz dev team, and as an organization as a whole, that this connection not only happened but has grown the way it's grown. It's been exciting, and it's been cool. Elliott and I have been on the phone a lot, especially when COVID came down, and valves and all the different issues. I remember the sales team looking at me going, why Grand Canyon over this brand over here? It was like, Elliott, what do you think, man? What's the pitch, bro?
Yeah. No, I remember getting everything set up and going through everything, and then your guys just being in awe. I mean, of what makes Grand Canyon different was the realism and detail of the log. So picking up the logs, looking at it, and they're just, they were just in absolute awe that how real they looked, and then they could see that, hey, I can sell this. I see this as a different need in the market. And then I remember I also brought out the big guns, the 4 to 8 inch jumbo unit, which that front log. I don't think your guys had ever seen a front log that big, being about 170 pounds with that front log weighs, and they're just like, yes, this is premium. We can sell this, and this definitely fits a need in our lineup for sure.
That and you guys, it's just funny how marketing works. I'm still wondering where's Kyle?
Where's Kyle?
You guys had this little campaign going. Well, my kids think I'm Kyle. Because I brought home the shirt, and it's this lumberjack with he's got a stocking cap on, and he's ready to go, very comfortable, very good. So you guys, he said, where's Kyle? And it was kind of like this campaign you had going on. Talk to me about that?
Yeah, so Kyle is actually a real person. He's not a made up character. And when we were starting Grand Canyon, we wanted to not only have the whole branding and a logo, but have something that people could resonate with that tied back to the realism and detail. So Kyle was our log hunter. He went out in the woods and actually found our logs and then brought them back here to Phoenix. We actually do have a process here where we, once we find the logs, we create our master molds, and then we send them off to the factory to get the tooling in for production. But every single one of our logs within the Grand Canyon sets was actually out in the woods, out in the forest that we found and brought back. And Kyle was instrumental in getting that going. Over the years, Kyle is kind of retired from log hunting, so myself and a few other guys here have taken on that role. And I mean, there's nothing more fun than getting your buddies together with a chainsaw, a cooler of beer, and a couple side-by-sides and going hog wild in the woods and finding wood to make new log sets.
I am picturing me in my backyard right now in my side-by-side with the cooler. I got the whole thing. I'm ready to go. Let's go, dude.
I was gonna say we need to do some. You sent me pictures of your fire pit area and your wooden area. We need to make a Michigan or a woodland oak or something like that. You got the area for it.
We got it, dude. You come to the house. I got the place to stay. We'll go into the backyard, 18 acres. We can find a log back there somewhere. I guarantee it. You have fire-related questions, and we have answers. You can email us your questions at podcast@woodlanddirect.com or give us a call at 586-221-3638. We would love to be able to answer them right here on the Experts in Fire podcast.
So walk with me on the journey now. So it's 2015. You onboarded Woodland Direct. I think we were both probably pleasantly surprised because, as Mike had alluded, when you onboard a new brand, there's a lot that's gotta work. So there's the person who's making the stuff, selling it to you. There's you, one of the decision makers. That was me. to bring this on board? How's this going to work? Does it fit the catalog? Then you're endearing it to a sales team. You got to market it. And then there's the whole, return side of things where you got to make sure that the return that you're getting a return from what you're putting into it. And we started to see some early success from the get, and I think it's been upwards ever since. We got through COVID, kind of the ramp up. What was that like? When did you know this is gonna stick? How was Woodland a part of that?
Yeah, so I think at the very beginning years, we were just starting off. I was the single and the sole employee of Grand Canyon Gas Lots. So I walked into the situation where we had a burner and we had some logs, and that's about it. So I have a background in marketing, graduated from Arizona State University with a marketing degree. So we had to build out the entire platform. So our pictures, our videos, our catalogs, build our website, get all that done. And then that was on the foundation side. And then once we started getting sales, I would do the ordering. I would put the stuff away in the warehouse. The orders would come in. I'd pull them. I'd mount valves onto them. The only thing I didn't do was the shipping. Luckily, we had a shipping guy for Modern Flames that would ship that stuff out. But I was always excited about getting an order in. But it's like, oh man, now this is a lot of work. I got to run down. I got to pull it. I got to mount the valve onto it. I got to test it. Got to get it all packaged up. And then Woodland was instrumental in the part of getting the name of Grand Canyon out there. There's only so much that we could do without having a full array of reps across the country to get to the different dealers and distributors, where it really built the name with the consumer and the contractor. And Woodland is obviously one of our top customers, so it helped us really grow to the level on a sales wise that we're at now, and we couldn't be more thankful.
So I remember, Kevin, when Elliott was doing all of this, I was texting with him, and we are just pinging back and forth, because I think we had a valve issue. I don't know. There's something happened, right? That's business. Something happened, and so he's always been responsive. And then all of a sudden, my phone rings, and he's like, "Dude, it'd be easier just to talk than to text." And I'm like, "I'm good, bro. What's going on?" And he's like, "Well, I'm laying here in the hospital, but I can get this taken care of." I'm like, "What? You're in the hospital?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was out running this morning." Or you were on your bike.
I was biking, yeah.
For your Ironman, right? And he got hit by a car. And he's still doing business with me laying in the hospital.
I've done a few Ironmans in my day, and that was in September of 2017. I was training for Ironman Arizona, and I was out on a training ride one afternoon, and a lady decided to pull in front of me, cut me off, and I slammed in the rear quarter panel of her car and broke my bike in half, separated my AC joint, broke some ribs, and it sounded bad, but I was able to recover quite well. But I think it goes back to wanting to always answer the question, being involved in the business, and if the customer has a question, we gotta get them taken care of.
And I think you keep that bike in your office, don't you, as a bit of a reminder?
It is in my office. It's hanging up on the wall, so it reminds me to stay biking if inside, so I can't get hit by a car. So,
well, speaking of challenges along the way, if you're in business long enough, but let's keep it to maybe industry challenges. Did you run up against challenges, and then how did you find yourself overcoming them as kind of a young company inside of like 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, we've run into all kinds of challenges. I mean, the biggest challenge is starting a gas log company in an industry that's so seasoned, right? There's so many companies that are out there that have been around for 30, 40, 50, 70 years. So getting customers to buy into something new, something different, something unique in the marketplace. And I think that was definitely a challenge on the beginning. Even with our burners, a lot of the big manufacturers use an imported burner, so they use a lot of sand and to kind of mask the different things within ours. Ours are all domestically made burners, and we don't use any sand. So getting installers to overcome that you don't need to put sand on a burner has been a challenge. And then also just navigating the different options in valves and controls, and being able to select the right thing, not only for the brand, but for the end user as well.
Yeah, and I know for us, it was a learning curve when we took the product on. And we had sold different brands of gas logs. So I think, Mike, you alluded to it. I mean, you're coming into an array of different brands sold by Woodland Direct. Our sales team, we're creatures of habit. We sell what we feel comfortable selling. At the same time, it's got to be tried and true. We have a customer on the other end of the line that we have to fulfill on our promises. If we tell them it's going to be a certain lead time, the warranty is as such, the return process is as such. And on the Woodland side, it's not just selling a product that people want to buy. It's also working with a business partner that can work with us. And, sometimes, we're the one who's flawed. Sometimes we share that flaw with someone else. But in the end, if we can work it out, that's definitely a win. So I hope that, our sales team, our support people, and especially business development have helped you through some of those challenges.
I would say you guys have been instrumental in that because, starting off, I don't have an engineering background. I have a marketing background. So there's a lot of things that you guys helped us figure out with the improving our manuals, improving our packaging and shipping, improving our, when I started, I came from the thought is, hey, we'll just do everything a la carte and then they can assemble it in the field. Well, it's not as easy as it sounds. So doing everything, all the assembly in-house to give your, when we ship it to your end user, your contractor, it's a much easier product to pull out. And you guys have been instrumental in helping us grow and helping us learn to offer not only a better product to your customers, but then that trickles down and offers a better product to all of our customers across the country. So, and I think that goes back to what you guys have invested in with the certification of your sales guys. I mean, your sales guys are super technical, and then they're also good at selling, and that's hard to find, and that hasn't been replicated by any other online company in this industry.
One thing I want to say is it's as a company we are proud to partner with Grand Canyon Gas Logs as well as RPG as a whole. Because a lot of people, they want to sign up with Woodland Direct and it's going to, make me $1 bazillion. And the one thing that you guys have done that it just proves out over and over again, it doesn't matter if it's a relationship like this, it's just business in general. If you head a company and you want that company to have success, you're never going to be stuck in the position where you're looking at somebody else. And Kevin and I have had it. We've had people sit in our conference room and look at us and go, well, why don't you just do better? And we're looking at those sheets, Elliott, that we would send over to you. You tell us, hey, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Hey, tell me where I can get better. And we would send stuff over to you and you would go to work on it. It was a true partnership, man. And hats off to you. Hats off to the Richardsons. I know Chris was the same way with Modern Flames. It's always been a partnership and looking at how do we get better? How do you get better? How can we help each other get better? And that's why you guys are a key brand inside of our Firebrand program. And we appreciate that, man. Appreciate everything you guys have done.
We also appreciate the honest feedback because we don't know everything. We only know, we know. So when the more impact, the more feedback we get. And I think that's also the testament to us as an organization where we're small enough. If something's not right, we can pivot in a second. We can make a change. We don't have to go through a board of directors to get an approval on something that needs to get changed. It's hey, if it's not right, we own it, we make it right, and hey, let's move on and let's learn from it. So and it's because of the feedback that we get from you guys.
Yeah, so a true testimony, just to kind of pile on to what you guys have been saying, is just that with Grand Canyon, you guys have been flexible. You guys have been able to pivot. So whether it be, hey, we have this issue, and we've worked together on EDI, electronic data interchange. We've worked together on some return issues. We've done various promotions together. And now we're inventorying the product. You're in our Firebrands program. So for those who do not know, our Firebrands program is essentially a subset of brands that Woodland Direct carries. That is a set of brands that we want to lead with first on our site, among our sales team, and we advertise those the most. We have very good and deep relationships with those brands, and so they are a subset of what we're looking to do here at Woodland Direct in terms of selling to contractors, homeowners. Yeah, so you guys are definitely a preferred. We would call you preferred partners, and we called it some other iterations, but we ended up landing on Firebrands, and that's exactly what you guys are for us and to us. And we really love working with your team.
Yeah, well, we love you guys too, and the way you guys present the product, the way you guys sell the product, the way you guys service the product, from a standpoint with your customers, and then even I know you guys' business changed a little bit from just direct to not only direct but to the pros, but the pros that you guys have brought on have been instrumental with your growth, and also with our growth with you guys as well.
Well, that is a big piece of the partnership and the Firebrand program is we have grown in leaps and bounds with the number of pros who come out and order online, but most important, have the ability to pick up the phone, talk to a pro, one of our pros, who can tell them about the product, who can walk them through the needs that they're going to have on their end before that pro even orders it, to make sure they're ordering the right thing. And then at install, they know they have help if they need it, technical help during install, or even warranty help down the road. And you guys have always been on board with that kind of help anyway, so it was a very natural move to get you into that Firebrands program and to get you in front of all of our pros. And I got to tell you, we got some exciting things coming down the pipe as well as Woodland Direct. We're super excited. I can't share them here today, but our pros are really pushing us forward into the future. And brands like yours, Elliott, are going to see growth from that, especially in the marketplace where folks are going to be looking at that 48-inch going, dude, I've never seen a log set that big before. That's a Grand Canyon gas log right there, right? So we are excited about that. This is the part of the program, though, where you get opportunity to share any new pieces that you guys have coming out, new products, new innovative things. Anything that you want to share, Elliott, put it out there for our listeners so they can hear.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate that. So to kind of take a step back, so in 2019, we really made an investment internally in engineering. We brought on our first director of engineering, and it doesn't come from a fireplace background, but actually comes from a ballistic missile background.
Talk about working with fire,
right?
Exactly. So he knew combustion. We just didn't need a combustion to go as long a distance as he knew. But Jim Knowlton, our director of engineering, we knew that if we wanted to become a prominent brands throughout the RPG brands in the industry, we needed to invest in engineering. We need to invest in several products, new products, and that has resulted in quite a few patents in the RPG brands portfolio. So bringing out products that are unique to the marketplace, different, and we've never taken the stance of being a company of R&D, research and duplicate. We want to do actually research and development in that sense. So with Grand Canyon, we've do a lot with the modular masonry community, which you guys do a lot with as well. So building out the linear drop-in burners of the Bedrock series that really give that big full flame look in a linear masonry fireplace that isn't really achieved in some of the the standard burners that go into that. So we're continuing to develop out that product line. And I'd say our biggest innovation is our GlowFire technology. So GlowFire technology is actually where we took the burner tube and embedded it inside the log. So the flame is coming out of the log to make it look much more realistic, like it's on fire because it is. So we've seen some of this in direct vents, but we were the first to launch it in an actual gas log set. And where we see the GlowFire and the lava burner as a whole new category of gas logs. So everything you do with the traditional gas log set being a front view, a wood pile, a see-through, we will do with the lava burner and GlowFires and continue to build that out. We use less BTUs in a traditional gas log set, so we're getting a more fuller flame effect without wasting the fuel, hiding the controls underneath, because we all know a lot of times the last thing the contractor, the designer thinks about is how they're going to turn their gas log set on, and you got these big black boxes in your fireplace that you don't like. So being able to successfully integrate everything under it, which gets you a fuller log set in your fireplace, the GlowFire and the lava is something we're going to continue to double down. build out that technology. We have the weathered oak chard in the Glowfire, and in early 2025 we'll be launching the birch in the Glowfire technology. So we're excited to be we'll be introducing that.
It's really, really cool to see your product development go in the direction that it's not only going, but I think it's in some cases it's probably exceeding what we all kind of thought where it would go. Your new log sets are fantastic and definitely a game changer in the industry.
You know, that I agree with Kevin. When we went out there and we saw what you guys were doing, it changed the model altogether. So, it went from, hey, we have gas logs too, to look what we're doing with gas logs. And everything you just said about your new products that are coming out, Elliott, are different. They're creative. They're listening to the consumer and saying, hey, we got to figure out how to do this for the consumer. Seeing how creative you guys are, and not just creative, but solution oriented. You're working towards solutions for the end user who have options, right? I mean, we're all in that business. I'm trying to gain the business and the trust of a customer. That is what makes a huge difference for you guys, is that in our pro program and in our Firebrands program, we know that those pros can look at Grand Canyon and say, these guys are pushing the boundaries, and I can do unique things because of them. So kudos to you guys, man. That's really good stuff.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we listen to the market, listen to customers like you. What are the needs in the market? And then, looking outside the industry, what other technologies that are out there that we can, rebundle and put in our vessels? One of my favorite shows of the year that we go to is the CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. What other cool electronics are going on out there that we can design and develop into our products to make it more user friendly and make it more tech savvy, to make it just different, thinking outside the box, and how do we make ourselves unique compared to our competition?
Love it. Well, Kevin, I know you've been kind of guiding us here through our first discussion. I'm so glad Elliott's our first discussion in this version of our podcast. Is there anything else, brother, that you had that you wanted to bring out here?
I usually only have two questions left after a discourse like that, and that is, who do you think you are and what gives you the right? But you know what? Elliott has done such a fine job of answering those two questions this whole time. I'm speechless. Unless he's got the winning lottery numbers he wants to give us, if he knows them.
I'll text them to you on the side.
Please do. Thank you. Our secret.
Yeah, well, I'd like to reiterate again, I'm honored to be here. And like I said before, it's a business relationship that turned into a partnership that's truly turned into a lifelong friendship. So I couldn't thank you guys more for that as well.
Love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Elliott, for being here, bro. I appreciate you. I'm going to be texting you in the background when I get a filet tonight, because I'm out here in Chicago and I'm going to take my wife on a date. So you will see that. If they have a cigar bar, you might see a cigar as well. So I really appreciate you, man. And then Mr. Bobcean, dude, this is episode number 1 for you and I to be together.
Number 1. Here we go. It's in the books.
It is in the books. I love it. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for being here, guys. And thank you all for listening. As the host of this podcast, I got to say, it's always cool to get feedback from our listeners. So if there's something else that you wanted to know from Grand Canyon, from Elliott, or if there's something you need to know from us here at Woodland Direct, do not hesitate to reach out in all the different ways that are shared during the podcast. And then shout out to Miss Samantha Nork for doing all that she does for us to make this podcast great. And until next time, we hope you have a bright and blessed day.